Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on this channel as of late. I just did two collab videos at once. Hope you guys are enjoying those. I have another one on the way because, man, so much news has been happening. Just today alone, we had the Shang-Chi trailer, the Halloween trailer, and then we got a whole bunch of other stuff which we'll talk about in that video. But until then, we have the movie review as I promised for you guys on Friday, which is of course the Fast and Furious 9 review. I just got back from seeing it about 2 hours ago. I'd say 2 hours ago. If my throat seems a little little dry, it's just because I had a busy day. And to be honest, I was laughing a lot during this movie. Um, but to set up the premise, Fast and Furious 9 is of course the ninth entry in the Fast and Furious saga, or as it has been advertised as F9, and it follows the story of Dom and his gang, and they're chasing Charlie Theron as they did in the last movie. And there's a twist. John Cena is in the mix now, and it is Dom's brother. Shocker. And there's conflict, and with that, we're on another insane adventure. And the last Fast and Furious movie, admittedly, I've not seen all the Fast and Furious movies. I've seen the first one, I've seen bits of Tokyo Drift, I've seen bits of five, and then at that point, I think I've seen the last two movies, or last three. I've seen Furious 7, I've seen Fate of the Furious, I've seen most of Hobbs and Shaw, and now we are at F9. Um, Now, I am very familiar with the franchise at this point. It's just ridiculous. And I know how bonkers this franchise can get, and I was prepared for that, and I was hoping within that some form of comprehension and some coherence. And unfortunately, this film does not have that. This movie is playing more to its stupidity than its logic, because many things with this movie do not make sense. Logic is kind of thrown out the window. Like, there's a lot of points where you kind of wonder to yourself, why couldn't they just do this? And you realize why they're not doing that is because it's all in service for the hollow premise, um, versus trying to execute something greater. Um, like, there's certain like moments within action, and you're like, why couldn't they just do this? Like, they could have just done this, and we could have resolved this a lot quicker. No, we have to do this way because that's just how this premise wants us to go in its hollow form that it is. Because it is a hollow premise and it is a hollow story. And within that, you have some really hollow characters. I mean, I've never really cared about any of these characters. Even the whole Han thing, I've not give a shit about. Um, and John Cena is, I'm sorry, he's not good. He was not good in this movie. There's a point where I don't think it's a spoiler when I say we see a younger version of John Cena in the movie, but at one point we like cut from the young actor, who by the way did a decent job, like the younger versions. Spoiler warning for a minute. There's sequences with a young Dom and this young John Cena character. Those actors are okay. They're not great, but they're okay. The one who's playing Dom is trying really hard to be Vin Diesel, and the other one is doing okay. But we cut from him, and then we cut to John Cena's face, and we cut from an expression that looks okay to nothing really. John Cena's expression looks like this. It looks very constipated. It looks like just like I don't know what he's trying to do. I did not like his performance. I just thought it was not good. And the pacing, I have to say, is the real killer of the film. It's very uneven, very choppy. Stuff just goes. Like it's like we're about maybe 15 minutes into the film, and we're already on the mission. Um, like like there's stuff that they set up with Dom, like he wants to be at peace or something. He wants to live life over here, and then like 10 minutes in the movie, it's like, nope, screw it, and then we're just gonna go do this thing. Um, so the pacing is very uneven. Like, I think that it's 2.5 hours, which is even shocking enough, to even say that the pacing is uneven, because it has enough length to give itself, time to flesh out, but it just doesn't. Stuff needed to be slower and give more time to develop. Um, and the action, okay, we know the action is just ridiculous. We know it's just out of lot. Just the logic is thrown out the window, but within that action, we can still accept to a certain degree. With here, though, I think they go a little over the top, and honestly, uh, they they how do I put this? They they just go too far. Because the action is just absurd. Like at points, like it's not spoiled in the trailer. Like we see like cars with magnets. We see cars somehow defying logic with like hanging off a bridge. And I don't think it's a spoiler when I say that they go to space. And it is just so ridiculous. I was laughing my ass off in the theater when that was happening. Um, it just it's just ridiculous, the action. It's at some points it's fun, like some of it seems comprehensible, like you're able to understand what's going on, and then there's stuff like that, like where it's just a car in space and magnets being thrown around, and it's just like what's going on here. um and lastly, as I laid out, the plot is it, again, there's a lot of times where you, as you do with the action, a lot of times you're going, wait, what? And a lot of times you're also saying to yourself, as I had said earlier, we could have just done this, and this would have been resolved rather quickly. But we're not doing that because why? Because it's in service to the hollow premise. We have to drag it out. We have to do the stupid way instead of the actual comprehensible way. Um, it's just highly inconsistent. The movie. That's the word for the film. It's inconsistent. Um, Because to put it short, guys, like I know this review seems kind of scattered, but really that's how the film felt to me. It felt scattered, and within films that are scattered, it's hard for me to give you a proper analysis on how I feel because um, it just feels all over the place. Like again, the action just goes one way, and then the pacing goes another, and then the plot brings up things that just make no sense. Um, it's just to spin a funny word, it's furiously inconsistent. Um, and because for a franchise that has a uh, has has some way to in the past able to communicate and have us understand on a certain level what's happening. To put it short here, guys, for F9, there's a part in the movie where Dom's son crashes a toy car and a toy spaceship into each other. And there is where I said this is the intelligence not only this franchise has now, but this movie does, which isn't much. Um, And as I said, through uneven pacing, absurd action, nonsensical plot, it's highly inconsistent and easily the stupidest entry I've seen from this franchise. Yet, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a good time watching this. I was laughing my ass off. I was sat next to this person and we were just laughing. She was enjoying it, but I was laughing for a very different reason. And for that reason, shouldn't have been for that particular reason. Um, I I know we have two more coming, and then they're supposedly going to end it, but we know if these movies are successful, which we'll see, they're not going to stop. I just hope that they're not as absurd or get even more ridiculous as F9 did, because there are glimpses of something that could be cheesy and disposable, but really what you have here is just stupid. And in some ways, that's the best way to define this movie. And I wouldn't fault you if that's the word that you choose when you walk out of the theater.